Hi everyone, it's Annie from Honey Without H, and today I'm showing you how to make this delicious veggie quiche.
Quiche doesn't have to be intimidating or overly complicated, and I find this to be a really easy way to sneak some veggies into kids' meal. They love it and all the family adores it. Without further ado, let's make this amazing meal. So let's start with making our crust, and for a good flaky crust you gotta make sure that your butter is very cold. Now here I have 220 grams of all-purpose flour, in which I'm adding 100 grams of cold cubed butter. Then I'm adding 1 teaspoon of sugar, about half a teaspoon of salt, 1 egg yolk, and about 2 tablespoons of water, and we're gonna add more as we go. Now mix it with your hands. You can also use a food processor, but I like using my hands for this.
This is the consistency that you're looking for, a bit sandy, a bit sticky. Now you can add 1 or 2 more tablespoons of water. There we have it, a nice bowl of dough and a clean bowl. This is what we want. This is what we've got, and it helps if you fold your dough into layers. It makes it a lot flakier and nicely coated. Just like this. When it's done, you can wrap it in foil and pop it in the fridge for at least 30 minutes. Now let's get to the veggies.
I'm using 2 leeks, a small onion, 2 red peppers, a sad leftover broccoli, and a couple of brown button mushrooms. Just look at this color. I can buy myself veggies. When they're about halfway done, we can add the mushrooms. Leave this on high because we gotta make sure that we remove all the liquid. It's time to add salt, pepper, thyme, and some oregano. Alright, our crust is out of the fridge. And it's now time to lay it nicely on the table. So cover your table with flour. And a pro tip, while you're rolling your crust, always make sure that you're moving it. You don't want your crust to be stable on the table, because then it's gonna stick and you do not want that.
This was a good arm workout. May I remind you again, do not forget to move it on the table.
Now into the tray. Don't pull it from the middle. I'm slowly cutting off the excess. I am making an improvised pie weight holder here. Hold on with me. And because I think things can be multi-purpose, I didn't want to buy pie weights, and I'm using some beans instead. We are gonna blind bake our crust. This is so it's all nicely baked before we add the rest of our ingredients and filling in. And the weights are so that the middle doesn't start bubbling. 220 Celsius for roughly 15 minutes. While that is baking, we're going to prepare our mixture. So in a bowl, we're beating 3 eggs. Some cooking cream, a touch of milk, salt, garlic powder, and a touch of nutmeg. Don't judge until you try. Now I'm adding in my raw broccoli, And this is completely optional, but I also like to add some cheese in there as well. I just crumble it by hand. Alright, this looks great. Now let's add in our egg mixture.
Just like that, let's go check on that crust.
Poke some holes into this with a fork so that the air can release itself. And pour in the mixture. Back in the oven we go at 180 Celsius for roughly 20-25 minutes. It's been 20 minutes and I added a little bit of shredded cheddar on top, and it's gonna go back in the oven for 5 more minutes until it's gonna be golden brown and beautiful on top. Just have a look at this beauty. I think it's Isa approved. And one last finishing touch, I like to add a few green onions on top. It's time for the taste test. Now, don't take my word for it, you know how I like to say it. You have to try this.